And are we ready? I think it's recording. Yes, it is. All right. So season 2, episode 3. We're being consistent. We got 2 episodes out. This is the third one. We have my boy Andrezi, Guest X, Drizzy X. A lot of things I call him by. Thank you again for coming to the podcast. I do appreciate it, bro.
Thanks. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, so he's going through a little cold. He's not stuttering, you know. It's just a little cold right here.
Getting over a quick cold.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
usually sound like this. I usually sound sexy. I know.
Oh shit. Oh, actually, Julia called you out right before you came. She's like, this man was putting on cologne, and she's like, we put on the cologne on for him. What did you say?
That's on my puka.
I mean, I guess. All right, people. Before we start, too, I just want to say, please try to help me out with the YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube. It is very important. I hopefully eventually want to monetize this in some way because broke boy here needs money. And also, please follow me on Instagram. Follow both of us, and also the most important one, even though it's ironic on the bottom. I need you guys to listen to me on the media platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcast, Stitcher, Google Podcast. I'm even on Amazon for some reason. I'm pretty sure I am. If you listen to me there, I just need 75 more listeners in the next 45 days, and I start getting ads again. So it happened for Island Boys. Shout out to Island Boys, RIP. That fake motherfucker is in Florida. Fuck him. Enjoying the beautiful time. But also a former associate of Island Boys. So thank you for supporting all the bullshit I do.
Hey, that's what I'm here for. I'm supporting
my
friend's bullshit.
All right, so man, can you give us a quick little summary, Andres, of what you do, what you are, like a little background? You don't have to tell us your career, but you could tell us a little bit about Andres for the people that don't know.
Yeah, I mean, what's up, guys? My name is Andres. I've known Puka since, I don't know, like 9th grade, right? Since I was in 9th grade, maybe like 14, 15 years old. Mm-hmm. So, man, like well over 10 years, you know. We went to high school together. But, man, what do? I work in IT. Tech background, which is pretty cool. I just started a new job recently, which is really cool.
Congrats.
But I've been working in IT for a couple of years. Before that, I worked at Apple, as most of my friends know. And all I do these days is work and sleep and eat. And that's pretty much it. That's what you do when you're an adult, right?
I was going to say, yeah, that's when you kind of know you're old. When the repetition happens and there's nothing. You know what excites you? New furniture.
Yeah.
New entertainment system.
I got into a new apartment in December. So literally, man, like the past few months, just getting new furniture, new things for the apartment, and like that's all I look forward to.
And that's why we're here today. We're actually here to talk about the fact that Andres has now been living with his girl. I think you have been living with her before that, but this is like your spot, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So where are you now?
So right now we're living in Forest Hills. We're in Queens.
J. Cole, boy.
Yeah, J. Cole, Forest Hills Drive. But yeah, we've been living together. We did live together while we were in Mineola in Long Island. We lived together for about a year, but that was with my mom. So, you know, living with your parents, it kind of comes with some situations and some roadblocks and obstacles. But now in December, we moved into this new apartment. And it's just us.
Okay.
You know, so it's pretty cool. It's definitely different than what it was before. But yeah, man, it's been really cool so far. Forest Hills, beautiful area, Queens, I love Queens. Close to work. You know, I work in Manhattan, so it makes it really easy for me to get into the city.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
So just to reiterate on all that, man, it's actually been 13 years since we know each other. I was doing the math. I'm always doing my little research. I met you in 10th grade, and unlike Mike J, I liked him from the very beginning. So shout out to Mike, bro. He's fake. Andres, me and you clicked it off, man. We were. I don't even know where the fuck I met you. I just met you. I don't know if it was through Alex J. Shout out to Alex J.
Shout out Alex J.
Alex J. Back in the day, but I don't know. We clicked, man. I was also friends with your cousin, which I didn't even find out till later on that she was your cousin. Yeah. I had no fucking clue. She's like, you know my cousin. I seen you with him in the hallway, and I'm like, no. What are you talking? Like, I would know who your cousin is. She's like, you know Andres, and I'm like, get the fuck out of here. That motherfucker's Hispanic.
So many people would not know that me and Luis were cousins, man.
I didn't think you were fucking Spanish.
Yeah.
Until you fucking told me.
Yeah.
But you know where I think I met you? Now that everything's rekindling. Andoni.
Andoni?
Yeah, at his buffet party. Didn't he invite you?
I was there, yeah.
That's where
I feel like I met you before that.
We might have bumped heads, but I think we clicked at Andoni's birthday party.
Where is Andoni, man? What's up with him?
I have no idea, man. Shout out to Andoni if he ever listens to this, but
I haven't seen him since. No, you know what? I haven't seen him since the catering hall, since Converts.
Yeah, man.
Because we graduated. I think he was working there that summer, And then I stopped working there. I haven't seen him since.
He started a little bit way later than you, because
Way later.
Were you joined when you were in your senior year?
I joined the summer going into my senior year.
Yeah, shout out
And
to
then-
Converts. One of the worst places to
Man,
work. But,
Terrible experience.
the work ethic is there because of that place. Like,
No, for
in
real.
all honesty.
But Andoni came the summer after we graduated. After me and Andoni graduated, because it was my year. And that's the last time that I saw him. So I only worked with him for a couple shifts before I stopped showing up, because then I started working at Chipotle.
Yeah, ironically, my cousin, she lived in the same house as Andoni, and she would always tell me that Andoni was babied a lot. He was babied, but I don't think he wanted to. It was just the way the parenting was for him, and he didn't get a lot of the exposure to life until the very end. And his story was very sad, but I hope he's doing okay. I hope he really is. He was a great friend of mine when I was growing up, man. I used to go over his house all the time.
Yeah.
We were like best buds because he was my neighbor. He lived right across the street from
remember,
me.
I
Yeah,
remember,
so
yeah.
we would we would play with our little wrestlers that we had back in the day, the WWE. We'd play GameCube. He'd kick my ass in Smash Bros. That kid was a fucking no life. He was so no life, bro. He would be like, "Oh, I joined the tournament." And I'm like, "Get the fuck out of here, bro. I ain't joining no fucking
Great
tournament."
friend Andoni, man. Hope he's
Yeah,
all right.
yeah. I hope he is. We're talking like he's dead. He's not
Yeah,
dead.
right.
He's definitely not dead. He's definitely out there. So wherever you are, Andoni, I hope you're doing good. But yeah, that is I think the first time we really clicked, because you were like chilling with him, Alex, the Peruvian kid that was there at the time.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I was introduced more to you. Definitely not how we first met, but definitely how I was definitely introduced more to you.
Yeah.
Just like any of the seasons, even though there's only one season behind this, I asked 2 questions. The first question's always from last season. You know, I'm sure people are tired of me repeating it, so I'm just gonna go to these 2 new questions. Ready? Right now, this sounds like an interview, by the way. So
Yeah.
don't take it as an interview, because
like,
I
nervous.
can't hire you. Can't hire you to anything. I don't got money like that. But what so far is your greatest accomplishment, bro?
Wow.
Yeah, right. It throws you, bam. Like, but don't worry, there's no wrong answers.
I, mean, I really wish you prepared me for that question.
Take out your resume.
Yeah, right. My biggest accomplishment, man. I don't know. I think it's tough. I think just, you know, not for nothing, but just like where I am in life, I think it's, you know, that's just my biggest accomplishment. You know, I grew up with a single mom. It was always tough for her to kind of, you know, bring us up, me and my brother, but she did her best. And considering that, you know, I got my associate's degree, my college degree, and I think just considering like the kind of job that I'm doing and the career that I'm kind of heading towards, I think that's a huge accomplishment in itself. You know,
Yeah, bro.
it's I really look back at, you know, all the times, all the sacrifices that my mom made, all my work experiences, and just to kind of be where I'm at. I look back, I'm like, wow, like I could have never imagined this. So I think that in itself is probably my biggest accomplishment.
Dude, like I said to you, I work for Home Depot, and shout out to Home Depot. One of my the IT department there always tells me, man, you can always come in, bro. You have no idea, like get an entry level job. Like at my age, I don't know why I feel like it's too late, because I'd have to reduce my salary, ironically, to get a lower salary, but into a better promise that I'd get a bigger salary later on as long as I do my time. They always tell me there's so many kids outside of college go into IT and they get somewhere. And touche to you, bro. You're the people that they tell me the stories of. And the fact that you're saying that to me now, like, it's crazy, bro.
It's a great career, man. I mean, considering that, you know, like my first job was at Converts, working at the catering hall from a dishwasher, busboy, whatever. And then I worked at Chipotle. I did restaurant management at Chipotle. Got sick and tired of working with food. Worked at Apple for a couple years. Became a repair technician at Apple. And then a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago, moved away from kind of consumer electronics into the IT industry. You know, and it's definitely it's definitely not too hard to break into as long as you're like a tech savvy person and you have personality. Like I think that's what a lot of people in the tech industry kind of lack. Like they lack that personal connection, that personality to be able to like explain tech issues to people in a way that they can understand. So I think it's really cool when you have a combination of being a people person and being tech savvy. You can break into the industry and then you can do very well for yourself. You know, whether it's like help desk to more of like a software engineering role. There's so many things that you can do in the industry, and it's really exciting. So yeah, it is really good to break in for entry level. It's not the easiest thing, but it's also not too hard.
Yeah, absolutely. Touche to you, bro. I don't know how you're doing it, but obviously you must be a fucking workaholic. Like I said, shout out to Converts. The work ethic's there. When they tell me to stay an hour, bro, that's nothing. People don't believe me, but we used to work. Just give me a quick example. Like if we had a busy weekend, that would mean that there was a party Friday night, Saturday, all day, and Sunday, breakfast. Which would mean that, let's say Friday, since me and Andres had school, we come out of school, we'd probably get there like 4 o'clock.
maybe, right?
From 4 to 2 in the morning, we're working. Saturday, we have to come at 6:30 or 7:15. From 7 in the morning to 3 in the morning on Sunday, we're working. Go back home, take like 2 hours of rest, and we're back at it at like 6
7 a.m. or something like
Bro,
that.
18-hour shifts. That's what I remember. People, they would be like, yo, you're stupid. And you know what? I'm starting to believe there were better jobs. I don't know why I didn't apply myself, or the ones that I did apply to, I just never got.
There was 100% better jobs. We were 16, 17, 18 years old, working 30 plus 35 hours in a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, working 18 to 20-hour shifts in a catering hall. Bro, we go in there before the sun comes up, and we come out at 2 a.m. We never even saw the sun. We're just inside
Facts.
all day.
Yo, taking out the garbage would feel relief. Sometimes.
Yo, for real.
Only when they had the gate open, though.
Well, when I went to working 8 or 9 hour shifts at Chipotle, I'm like, this is nothing.
Yeah.
Washing dishes, easy. Taking
Yeah.
out the garbage, whatever.
Hey, Andres, can you stay there from open to close? Fuck yeah, as long as you
Sure.
don't tell me to stay till 2 in the morning. Which at times you had to, right?
And
I remember.
sometimes I would have to Chipotle, but like at least I wasn't working 20 hours, man. Because I mean, to your point, converts that really brought up everyone's work ethic, man, and all the people
Yeah.
that we work with too.
Yeah, they're all hard asses, bro. They
Yeah.
hustle now. Like we're talking about the Shanes, the Jamels, the
Jamels.
U, wherever Andoni is. Maybe he's hustling now. We don't even know. Maybe motherfucker might
Everyone
be a
except
millionaire.
Herbert.
Oh, Herbert and Eric were the worst, bro. Oh my god, Eric would complain. I'd put that motherfucker in the soda bar just because he wouldn't shut the fuck up. All right, and my next question, like I said, this is kind of interviewee. It sounds like it, but where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
Man, another great question.
Let me look at the resume here.
Yeah, right. Myself in the next 5 years, man. I don't know. It's man, good question. I don't even know how to answer that, man. I think just kind of furthering my career. I think at this age, I think everyone's so focused on their career. I don't want to make that the only thing, but you got to realize it is important, you know, because that's your way to live. That's your way to survive. So I think it's being that I'm a year and a half, 2 years into working in IT, I'm trying to figure out what I kind of want to move into next and where my career is going. So definitely trying to focus on my career, focus on my relationships, probably settle down. You know, maybe family's coming at some point. I mean, I'm 28. 5 years from now, I'm 33. So you never know what's going to happen in the next 5 years. And I think that goes for like a lot of people in our lives. Like we're all 28 to 30. So families are coming, which is, you know, kind of it makes me nervous, but it also makes me really excited, man, because I think kids will pop up, marriages are gonna happen, a lot of weddings.
A lot of
weddings are coming up, man.
Yeah.
But I think it's just, you know, focusing on career, focusing on family, myself.
That's what's
and,
up.
You know, I try to take it day by day, man, because if I think about the future way too much, I get anxious, I get nervous. I'd rather just kind of like.
I like that. Yeah.
Live it
It's
out.
way too unknown, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
way
I just
too
want to get, you know,
unknown.
I want everyone to have an image because at the point, like you said, yeah, man, we're getting to that stage. As people are moving in together, people are having kids, people are on their second marriages, people are on their first divorces.
Yeah.
People
real.
aren't settling down. You know, you got funny mans out there being Gerberts.
Yeah.
You know, Gerbert's still living like he's 21. Touche to him. Touche to him. There's not a
Touche.
lot of people that
They can pull that off.
exactly.
Yeah.
They get tired of it. Some don't.
Yeah.
I mean, even Herbert. I'm sure Herbert is a little bit tired of it, but at the same time, if he's living his life, let him live his life. You know, everyone has a different path, and I think that we're all finding different ways of doing it.
You can never tell the future. You know, if you asked me this 5 years ago,
Yeah, I was gonna say.
where I think I'd be today. I think 5 years ago, man, I was
You were at Chipotle.
I was
right?
probably at Chipotle. 5 years ago was what, 2017, 2018?
You were
Right? I was
23.
22, 23. So I was like leaving Chipotle, man. If you were to ask me on my way out of Chipotle, like, hey, you're going to be working at some tech company, IT, 5 years from now, I'd be like, bullshit.
Yeah.
You know, no way. Yeah, absolutely not. Like, I've been working in restaurants my entire life. Like, how? You know, so I think that just kind of goes to show, like, you never really know where your life is going to take you.
That's facts. And don't be afraid to take those chances. Like,
Yeah.
absolutely.
100%.
Yeah, no, 5 years ago, man. When I think of it that way, like, where was I 5 years ago? I was trying to fix a lot of dark things at that time. So I was definitely, I drink now, but I don't drink as much anymore. But we used to be heavy drinkers too. Even you, like, we all used to party crazy. I think everyone goes through it, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Since I got firsthand experience of us, we used to drink a lot. All right. So the reason it's great that question came up because you mentioned a lot of things that it's basically what's going to be on the podcast. But talk to us of your point of view in asking your girlfriend to move in with you. Is that something that was kind of developed by you, by both ideas coming together, or something that she discussed with you, and then you were like, yeah, you know what, I think I'm ready for that?
I think it was very mutual, to be honest. I think at the time when we talked about moving in together, we've already been dating for, it had to be 5+ years at the time. So the conversation naturally just comes up like, hey, you know, we're gonna move in, we're gonna settle down, stuff like that. So I think it's good that we get experience living with each other, you know, firsthand. At the time, I think that I was living with my mom and my brother in a tiny apartment, you know, so it was already kind of crowded as it was. My brother just came back from being in the Marines for a couple of years.
Shout out to Mateo. Thank
Shout
you
out
for your
to my brother,
service.
man. Thank you for your service. And he wanted to move out. He wanted to move out and move in with some friends and kind of do his own thing again. And at that point, it kind of opened the opportunity for a little bit more room in the apartment. And I, you know, for those of you guys that know, my mom is so super important to me. Love her so much.
Shout out to the mamas. Shout out to Andres' mom.
Thank you.
I love her, dude. She's one of the nicest. Like, every time she sees me, she doesn't know who the fuck I am. But as soon as I tell her my name, she's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. But for those of you guys that know, she's become very dependent on me over the last couple of years, you know, due to her decline in health. You know, so at the time when we were living, when I was living with her, my brother, me and her were taking care of her, doctor's appointments, and she wasn't working at the time, so she really relied on us for help with anything. You know, so my brother moving out kind of opened the opportunity for Julie to come back in, not come back in, but to move into the apartment with me, and also live with my mom. So there's a couple of good things about it, some bad things about it. So the good things are we get to live together, get to experience living with each other, get closer, be closer. But then there are the obstacles where, if you look on Julia's side, you know, she's moving out of her parents' house and she's looking for independence, but to move into my apartment where my mother's living, it's kind of like, it's hard to kind of escape that. She's not really getting that full independency.
Yeah.
And they get along with each other perfectly well. They're best friends. They talk to each other. They love each other. But I think when it comes to my mom and living with her and her being dependent on me because of her health, certain boundaries get crossed. And I think it's, you know, super valid to kind of want more dependency away from our parents, right? And I love my mom, and I would do anything for her. But at the same time, I was also kind of needing like some space away, kind of go on my own, do my own thing, you know, really take our relationship to the next step without having my mom be around, you know. And I love taking care of her, and I love her very much. But I think there were definitely challenges with her being there, especially for Julia. Like I said, moving from her parents' house to living with my mom, it's never the easiest thing. And even her being able to take on that challenge head on, I commend her a lot for it, which is amazing, because she did live with my mom for just about a year before we decided to move out on our own. And the reason we were able to do that is because my brother, he lived away with his friends for a year. He came back. We kind of did a little switcheroo. You know, so now he's living with my mom. Me and Julie got a chance to kind of get our own place. Now we're living in Forest Hills in Queens, and we're in our own apartment. And now it's been about 5 months of just truly being
How'd your
like
mom
our
take
own
that?
space. Man, my mom.
I know. By the way, I don't think there's favorites, but you're like baby boy to her. Like, even
Yeah.
though Mateo's younger than you, I think like because like you said, your brother went to the service, so there was definitely more of attachment there while he was gone.
No, 100%, yeah, man. So Mateo was gone for about 5, almost 6 years, and it was just me and her. It was just me and her. She was essentially my roommate, you know, and my best friend, you know. So I think for her, me leaving and not being there with her every single day, she was definitely hurt. She was definitely sad, man. Like the months.
I can imagine.
The months leading up to like me looking for an apartment and like, oh mom, what do you think of this and that? Like,
It upset her a little bit.
it upset her a little bit. She was definitely happy for me,
Yeah.
super happy. But like there's so many times she like broke down and cried. And she's like, I'm gonna miss you. I love you so much. I don't know what I'm gonna do without you. I'm like, mom, I understand and I appreciate you saying that.
I'm gonna be right here.
I'm gonna be right here. Like, I'm still gonna see you every single weekend. You're in good hands with Mateo. You love Mateo. He loves you. He's a great son. He's gonna take care of you.
Not better than me, but you know.
Definitely not better than me, but he'll be there for you. So I think that was a challenge in itself, man. Like just seeing my mom get sad, but in the end she was very happy. She's happy for me and Julie to kind of do our own little thing, which is awesome. And she's been really happy with my brother. You know, he's been doing a great job.
Good for him.
So yeah, man.
Treat your mother right.
Treat your mom right.
Yeah. Treat your mom right, man. There's 2 episodes now. This in the same room, man. We had the Jays here. They put their mom on the pedestal. You two, you know, I consider myself a mama's boy too, because like those ladies did everything for us, bro, when we were young. Like, I mean, they gave us the world. You don't realize how good things are at the moment, and then when you get older, you get all these responsibilities. You're like, what the fuck? You must really love me to have done all that shit to put me through financially.
It's insane what they do for you, man.
Yeah.
I'm a huge mama's boy. Like 100%. I'll admit it to anybody. You know, just her herself, man. Like I said, single mom. raising 2 kids. There'd be times where she worked 3, 4 jobs at a time.
Yeah.
And it kind of is a testament to where she is now.
It's still
I mean,
cooked,
like,
right?
yeah, and it's still cooked. It's still
is
picking
crazy.
up
I
from
can't
work,
believe that, bro.
from school, and but like because of how hard she worked, I mean, now her health isn't the best, and this is kind of what happens, which is also the downside of those kind of sacrifices that our moms have to make. But
Yeah.
it doesn't go unnoticed. It doesn't go unappreciated.
Absolutely.
You know?
Bro, and the cooking thing I always emphasize because, bro, when my parents, like they're retired, so they go to Peru every couple of months. And when they do, man, there are days I don't fucking eat. Like, because I'm like, yo, I'm not fucking making something right. Like, I can barely cook. I can't really cook. But I can always, like, fucking at least get out. I choose not even to leave my apartment. I just pass out. I'm like, fuck it. I'll eat tomorrow morning.
Eat, sleep.
Yeah, eat, sleep, exactly. Wake up and want fucking, like, everything to eat in the morning. But talk to me a little bit more on, like, as long as you don't mind, like, give me an example of the boundary thing that you felt like, obviously it was never going to be fixed because of the comfort level she had with you, but something that maybe Julia found, not overstepping, but it's like, oh man, like this is one of the perks of not being in your own apartment.
Yeah, I think one of the main challenges were that, being that my mom wasn't working, 100% of almost all the costs were covered by me and Julia. So like our rent, utilities. My mom did get some benefits like groceries. So like my mom would cover groceries and like electric, but we would pay for everything else, like the rent and other utilities. So the tough part was trying to set boundaries in terms of like living space. We had a small apartment to begin with.
Yeah.
We had our own rooms. My mom had her room, me and Julia had our room, and I kind of tried to separate it a little bit. Be like, Mom, this is your room and this is your space and living room. This is our space. This is our bedroom. Let's stay in our space. Like, I'm here for you. I love you. We still live together, but you need to realize that there's another person in the house. So like we need to respect our spaces.
Yeah.
And that lasted for all of maybe like a weekend. We had a really nice TV set up in the living room to like watch movies and TV and like entertain and have people over, but my mom would be in that space all day long. And it's like there's nothing wrong with hanging out with my mom, but like at the same time, Julia moving into her own place.
Yeah.
And not really having her own space.
Yeah.
So we would want to sit down and like eat dinner there in the living room or like watch TV, watch a movie, cuddle up and watch a movie. She's not cuddling up and my mom's there.
Yeah.
So it becomes really tough because now it's like, how can I tell my mom who's lived in this apartment for years, like, hey, you gotta get to your own side and stay away from here. Like, I can't do that.
Like your mom's not your boy. Like, get the memo.
Bro, it's like now like I'm coming in between like dealing with my girlfriend, who is essentially my future, and dealing with my mom, who's always been there for me and has raised me. So it's like, it's a hard conversation. What do you do? So like, it's tough for me to tell my mom.
And you had it, but it was still like.
And I had it, and it lasted for all of a weekend, and then just kind of back to the regular, So it's like, you come home, and like our only space is our bedroom. Like that's it. Like we just go straight to our bedroom because my mom is in the space. I'm not gonna tell her to move. So it's like, I'm paying all this rent. We're paying all this rent, and like we're really just stuck to our bedroom. This is where we sleep and eat and chill and watch TV. And it's like, not the best situation.
You don't get to benefit from the full cost, and you would like to.
And I'd like to, yeah. And it's tough because like I don't want to tell my mom like go to your room, like she's my daughter or something. Like go to your room. So that was definitely like a boundary that was kind of hard to kind of set. And as well as like my mom, like me and her were really close. Like I said, like she raised me. We always lived together. My brother spent a couple years away where it was just me and my mom. Like we were roommates and we were best friends. So like me and her were very close. Like my mom and being like Colombian, there's something with Colombian mothers, man. Like they're so nurturing to the point where it's like a little bit overdoing it. And I don't mind because that's my mom, but like to other people, it's like, bro, it's like, what's it like?
Grow up,
It's like my mom, she loves hugging me, kisses on the cheek. She'll like hang out and like rub my shoulder. It's like, that's my mom. She just, we're close and that's all it is. But Julia, who comes from a family that's not so nurturing,
yeah.
It's like, that's different for her.
Yeah.
That's very different. And it's kind of like, why are you always hugging your mom? Why is she so close to you? Why do you have to sit next to your mom in the living room? I'm like, that's my mom. Like, what do you mean? She's like,
to us, it's second nature.
Yeah, like
it's not like uncommon.
In the morning, kiss on the cheek. Hey, mom. When I go to sleep, good night, mom. Kiss on the cheek.
Bro,
I hug my mom. But like with Julie, and her parents, like not for nothing, but like they don't really hug or they don't really like no kisses on the cheek, like nothing. Like they just say like,
have a good day, Julia.
That's it. Like typical like white American family. She's gonna hate that I said that, but like typical American family, like that's fine. But it's totally different from like how I grew up, So like for her, that's also kind of like culture shock in a way. You know.
No, I feel you, bro. Like that '70s show, that's how I picture it. Like no lie, like how Foreman is. Like that's how I picture most white families.
Yeah, no, 100%.
And that's literally like shout out to Ugly Money, Travis, on the last episode. But that's how his dad was always too. It's like, Dad, I'm out. All right, Travis, be home by 10. Bye.
Yeah.
And then from the background, you hear, Travis, ya te vas. I love you.
Yeah,
bye. Like,
exactly.
you know what I mean? It's like two different
He
ways.
gets the best. Yeah, the best of.
Yeah, he gets
not
both.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
But yeah, man. So for her, it's just kind of like just dividing, I mean, for both of us, but like dividing the space. My mom being there, and like I said, like from her, she's trying to gain independency. Like she's like, I'm moving out of my parents' house, but now I'm gonna go live with my boyfriend's mom. It's like that's such a tough like.
I mean, but that was how the deal was. She was okay with it because she wanted to experience something with you. So that, shout out to Julia too,
Yeah.
man. Like that takes a lot. Like I know it's not easy.
It's not easy. No.
Like I have my apartment, like I pay my rent, I take care of my parents. So I know how you feel in a way. Like when my girlfriend comes over, we're also stuck to that bedroom thing because it was funny. Like I tried to kind of make my parents understand in a way where like we moved into the spot, I was gonna take care of them, and they knew that.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm paying the rent. All you guys have to help me out. Like I control their financing, so I'm like, please help me out here in these aspects where I need help, and I'll just take care of everything else. So they were down with that, and I said, listen, this is a shared space, so please like don't bring too much junk because my parents are hoarders, bro. And they're like, yeah, no problem. My first 2 months there, it looked like a guy's apartment. It really felt like that. Parents come back from Peru. I have no idea where half the stuff came into my house. Like I know they go to garage sales, and I know like a bunch of that shit's there. That I'm just like looking in the room, and it just looks like a fucking shed.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, oh my God. And I know my girlfriend sometimes has a hard time, but she understands because she knows my situation. But hopefully, I'll be doing what you're doing eventually. Like I just got to see when and the appropriate time. So
Of course.
shout out to Shane too for
Time
releasing
comes,
it.
man.
Yeah, absolutely. But describe to it, bro. Now that you have your own space, a real space with her, how is it living with a girl, man? Like, did you have to? Did you see yourself changing anyway? Were you asked to change your habits in any way? Are you someone that's clean, dirty, messy, or is it like Talk to me a little bit more about that experience.
I think it still comes with its challenges. Even without my mom in the picture, even if it's just like you and your girlfriend or just you and your partner, there's still a lot of challenges that are in the way. But I will say it's definitely better than having my mom there. I think it's having our own space. One, amazing. Like I get to come home from work, and my space is my space. Like my apartment, like that's my sanctuary. Like I have the entire place for myself. I can do whatever. I don't have to worry about who's there. Which is like fantastic. I come home, kick my feet off, chill on the couch, chill in the living room. I'll make dinner. Julia might be either hanging out with me or she'll spend time in the bedroom. Maybe we'll spend some time apart. Like that's totally fine.
Yeah.
But it still comes with its challenges, and I think for the most part, like when you're learning to adapt on how to live with each other, you find out each other's habits and like what you want to correct and what you want to fix and how you want to share each other's space. So like for me, like I'm a little bit more laid back. I like to be clean, but I'm more of kind of like I'll take one day of the week for like a reset. I'll just reset the entire thing and just start all over. But like Julia, she's like a little bit more like clean as you go type of thing, like keep the space organized.
But she still has a reset too, right?
But she also does have a reset as well.
It's funny how those people work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
It's
weird.
mostly females. I mean, I hope you don't take that offensively, but it is a female like, oh, you always have to clean after you do. But I'm like, but I also know they also have a reset day, and I'm just like, why do it if you know on the reset day it's like doing double the work.
It really is.
But I get what you mean. You see it, right? That's
Yeah.
like where I guess guys collide with girls a lot on that part.
I think the biggest thing for me, the biggest habit that I had to get used to was like every time that I use the restroom, like I'm taking a dump, I had to fucking spray the bathroom with like
The poopery?
The poopery. and if I don't, if she doesn't hear those sprays, she's like, spray the bathroom. So like now I got used to it. So like that's my new habit. Every time without question, I just do it. And I'm like, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't doing this a year ago.
Motherfucker's washing his hands. He's still spraying that shit.
Fucking Bed Bath and Body Works like spray like all over the bathroom.
But tell us, what's something that you felt like you had to talk to Julia about, if there is any? Like a weird habit. I know all guys have it. Like one thing that I don't like is, which is so weird. I'm a big person of leaving the shoes at the front. I don't know why. Maybe I can blame my mom for that, but I always tell her like, yo, leave your fucking shoes in the front. Like I just don't want, even if the floor is fucking dirty, I don't want anyone walking on the floor with shoes. I don't know why. It's a weird habit of mine. But is there anything that you felt like you needed to implement in the apartment?
I think most of the changes definitely came from her. I'm pretty laid back, man. I'm pretty laid back and chill. I'm trying to think, man. Like nothing too crazy. I think just kind of like figuring out our schedules and figuring out like how to share our space. Like one of the biggest things is like dinner, right? And like getting groceries and like splitting the bills and stuff like that. Like that's always like a big conversation. It's always such a big topic. Especially like if you're a couple that like, are you a couple that believes in splitting things half and half? Are you a couple that believes in doing like
You do one thing.
60-40, 70-30 because one makes more than the other? Like that's always such a big
Well,
conversation.
don't tell us the number, but is that something that you guys have discussed? Like, what's your method of the madness?
I think that I make not like significantly more than she does, but like I do make more money than Julie does. And she just finished grad school. She's working part time. She was making her way up there, but I do make more money than she does. So for her, she was always like, "Why are we doing 50-50? Like you make way more than me." I'm like, "Yo, get your money up." I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Like, get your money up. Like, that's not my problem. But no, we do kind of figure out our own method. Like we do split the rent for the most part, but utilities, like I take on a few more utilities than she does. I have a car note. She mostly drives my car. So like things like that where it kind of makes up for splitting the rent.
One car?
We have one car.
That's smart.
It's my car, but I work in the city, so like I don't really use it. So she drives it.
Good.
So that's like her luxury, if anything, like a car that I pay for, which is fine by me. If I'm not using it, you might as well use it.
Yeah.
But for the most part, like it's kind of like when you move in with your partner, it's like figuring out like how you're gonna split expenses, what works for you, what doesn't work for you. And that's always such a big conversation. I've even spoken to like other couples about it. We're like, no, it has to be 50-50. Or like, oh, like I don't make any money. My boyfriend has to pay 80-20. Like he's paying 80%.
Like you said, it was laid back. It's a little more laid back.
It's a little more laid back
For
yeah.
you, as in you understand. You're not gonna make a big fuss about it until the moment it gets to like you get 80, she gets 20.
Yeah.
So
It gets to that point where we gotta reevaluate a couple things, you know.
That's what's up, though.
Yeah, I think so. And then like even finding out the schedule for like cooking dinner, right? Like, it took us a while, but we got to like a really good schedule where like I'll cook dinner Monday, Tuesday, and she'll cook dinner Wednesday, Thursday. And then at that point, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we're probably just gonna like eat out or something. You know, like we're not spending every single minute together. So Friday night she's with her friends. She's probably gonna eat with her friends. Saturday I'm with my friends. She's probably gonna eat with my friends. And then Sunday we'll like get
together.
something together. You know, so it just kind of works out like that.
Talk to me about the freedom of that, man. Like, how does that work for you, man? I know you're not married or anything like that. Do you feel like you owe her any explanation where you're going? You just voluntarily say it. Like, how does that work within your relationship?
I never feel like I have to explain what I'm doing or where I'm going, but she also doesn't make me feel like I have to, like ever. Like I just tell her, like, hey, I'm gonna go hang out with the boys. I'll be back later. She's like, all right, cool, have fun, bye.
You see, Mike J. learn.
Yeah, Mike J. Well, he has to tell.
He makes he literally I'll never forget this shit. It was hilarious, bro. Because man, I'm still a man of last minute planning. Like I just go with the flow. I'm laid back, bro. Whatever pops up. And you always said, yo, I fucking hate you guys because you guys don't tell me until the last minute. But it's because we literally don't plan shit. And then like one day I think we were all gonna go to Shane's house, right? And you probably didn't come because you're fucking fake.
Because I wasn't invited.
Yeah, but we hit up Mike, and of course the day of, because we planned it literally the day of. And this guy goes, "Oh man, I'm so busy. You guys have no idea. I'm working like 8 to 8. Like this is ridiculous. You guys give me 2 weeks in advance." I'm like, "What the fuck?" I'm like, "Does it look like I have like a calendar for you, motherfucker?" So we always crack jokes on him, just saying that, like, "Fuck you. Like I'm not fucking doing
2
that."
weeks in advance.
Yeah, right. Like I would appreciate. I'm like, well, I would appreciate that I'm not fucking doing that. Like I don't even fucking do that for anything of mine. Well, maybe not. My girlfriend makes me plan. She's a big planner. I'm not the planner in the relationship at all. Like I just go with the flow, and she kind of hates that. She wants more of a structured thing. Like, hey, we should plan ahead if you're going to go out to this place. Which I mean, I get on certain occasions, understandable. But like, if you're gonna go to a restaurant and you know that restaurant's busy, I understand you have to plan ahead.
Yeah.
Like I'm not stupid to that. But if we're going just to hang out in the fucking city, which she loves, fucking hate. I don't think we need to plan for that unless we're going to specific areas that are completely busy, and that's my idea of thinking of it. Just because I'm laid back and also I'm lazy, I don't fucking like to go plan, but I do it when necessary, when I find that it needs to be done.
I think all girls are like that in some way, man. Julie's the same thing. She's like, she hates being spontaneous. She hates like not knowing
Surprises,
what's going
right?
on, like surprises.
Don't ever throw a surprise
Like
party,
never,
right?
man, never. It's like I'm so like I don't really care. Like hit me up the day of.
Does she
And if
like-
I'm free, I'll do it. But if I'm not, then whatever.
How does Christmas work? Does she like surprise gifts, or she wants to know what you got her?
Christmas?
Yeah, like Christmas presents.
No, she definitely wants to be surprised.
Okay, yeah,
Surprise.
Not my girlfriend.
You know?
No.
She tells you, she's like, I want this, that, and that.
Yeah.
I ask for recommendations, but at the end, it's just like, she also wants, like, she's so big on, like, I want a wrapped gift. Like, I don't want to know what I get.
Oh, that's nice.
I want it to be wrapped and give it to me on Christmas Day. I'm like, all right.
Yeah. Well, talk to us some about the pros about living together. Like that you've loved and benefited from living with Julia.
I think just having somebody around, you know, I think it's really beneficial to like not feel like you're alone. You know, like
Yeah.
even though we're like in our, like I'll be in the living room watching like the Mets game or something, and she'll be in the bedroom like on her iPad or talking to her friend or watching her show with her like on the phone with her friend. And like, even though we're not spending time together, it's cool knowing that like someone's in the
Right there.
apartment,
Yeah.
someone's there. I'm not alone. Like just like a sort of connection, you know, which is it's
You're a
always
Mets fan?
appreciated. Big Mets fan.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't even know you watched sports.
Baseball is the only sport that I follow.
Really?
I only follow baseball. Like I'll watch NBA, just like it's just a bunch of back and forth. I'll watch the World Cup.
Out of all the sports you watch, the one that I find one of the most boring.
Well, I played baseball as a kid. I played
That's
Little
probably
League,
why.
and like
Okay.
I've always just been a Mets fan. I follow the entire sport though, like all of baseball. Like not even just the Mets. Like of course I'm a Mets fan, but I follow the entire sport. I don't know. You're a big soccer fan, right? Like you probably
Soccer
follow
and
like, the
basketball,
whole thing,
baby.
right?
Yeah, hell yeah, bro.
So like same thing for me. I don't follow anything besides baseball.
Okay, that's what's up.
Yeah.
All right, shout out to his Mets. Even though I'm not a baseball fan, so I wear Yankee stuff, but that's only because Jay-Z did it, right? He put it up in the map.
Fuck the Yankees, bro. Anyway.
Bro, since you brought it up earlier, like we obviously know there's a race thing. So you're Hispanic, you come from a big culture. I'm not saying the whites don't, but I'm saying there's definitely a different
whites?
culture. Yeah, the whites, the white people. Shout out to the white people, man. The whites. I sound mad racist.
Yeah.
The damn whites. But like coming from a different culture of Julia, like how was that blending in? How did it the first time go meeting her parents, her family, and also vice versa? How do you think it went when your family met Julia? Any jokes were cracked up, or did you feel like it was kind of just it just meshed? Like, how was that experience with you?
I think that's like a huge part of like our relationship, right? At least it was maybe in the beginning, not so much anymore. Just because we've been together for so long, and it's just kind of like my family knows her family knows me. So at this point, it's not really like a big thing. But like, I remember when I first brought her to like one of our family parties. You know, Latino family parties are huge. You got all your uncles and aunts and your cousins, and
Facts.
everyone's in one
Always
house,
popping.
30, 40, 50 people at times. Like, it's a lot of people. So for her, she's like, oh my God, like, Thanksgiving? Like, why is everyone here? Like, white people will spend Thanksgiving with their mom, dad, brother. That's it. Like 4 or 5 people.
Like this whole table right here?
Maybe.
Yeah.
If
Okay.
that might even be too much. But, like, Latinos, like, we got everybody in one fucking place, 30, 40 people. And she's like, why is there so many people here? You know, and like, and my uncles are so funny because my uncles, they met Julia, and immediately they're like, Julia Roberts. Like, that's how they don't call her that anymore, but they used to call her ¿Y dónde está Julia Roberts? Like, like that's the only actress that they know, and they want to call her Julia Roberts. And she always found that funny. I thought it was hilarious.
Imagine when I have her in the pod. I fucking hated that.
She's like, I hate it why these fucking guys call me Julia Roberts. I don't even look like her. But yeah, that was funny. And then like for me, like getting to meet her family, and like they're a lot smaller. They don't celebrate holidays like the way that my family does. So like I think culture shock on both parts, to be honest. But for her, it's kind of like she was always interested in like learning Spanish and like learning more about like the Latino culture. And like at this point, she's like an honorary Colombian. You know, like she
Yeah.
loves the food. She's been there 2-3 times already. Like we've been on vacations to Colombia. Like she loves it there. And her Spanish, like she's very shy about speaking Spanish. She understands, I think, very well at this point. Like if she speaks Spanish, she'll understand. She talks. My mom speaks to her in Spanish, and Julia will talk back in English, and they just kind of go back and forth. So Julia, she understands very well, and she can definitely speak it, but she's definitely really shy about speaking.
Yo, Julia, I'm telling you right now, you definitely speak better than Herbert. So definitely speak better than Herbert. So please, next time we see you, speak to us in Spanish.
Yeah, for real.
Please, we will not make fun of you. You definitely sound way better than me.
Way better than Herbert. But yeah, man, I think it's just a culture shock on both parts. You know, even for myself, like I never celebrated Easter ever.
Yeah.
As right,
Like we do, like we don't celebrate it, but we'll like gather and like eat stuff together.
not even. I mean, for me, like I never celebrated Easter, man. Like the first time I celebrated Easter was with her family, and we went to her aunt's house, and her aunt cooked a feast of like Italian American dishes, man. Like scampi and like parmesan and like all these pastas and like all these foods. It was like, bro, it was this table just full of food, and it was like six of us. I'm like, what are we gonna do with all this food? So that was like the first time that I ever really like celebrated Easter. Because for Easter it's just like a holiday. I just sat home and just
Yeah,
hung
we
out.
just chilled, man.
That's
We
it.
just
It was
chilled.
nothing crazy, So I think both of us like it was a learning curve, but yeah.
Okay. And to get into like more of the second part of the topic that I want to speak to, and we can still continue the relationship one because I think it's going to be very important. Like you said, you grew up with your mom. Mom was a single mother. How did you feel like growing up, the things you experienced at a young age, not having a father figure like that? How was that mentally for you growing up?
I think mentally, man, it was huge. It was such an important like thing for me because like I knew I only had a mom. Like growing up, like you're 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, and like you see families and like everyone has a mom and a dad. I'm always
Yeah.
kind of like, where's my dad? Like one thing led to another. My dad's not in the picture. That's fine. I always accepted it because I only knew my mom, and she was able to play both roles for me, which is amazing. Even though with all the sacrifices that she made working all these jobs, she was still there. Like she would pick me up, take me to school, pick me up, be home for dinner, cook dinner, and then still get up for work at like 1 or 2 in the morning,
Yeah.
just to do it all over again. So I didn't question it too much growing up as a
I was gonna
child.
say, was there ever a conversation? Do you feel like?
There was definitely conversations. My mom explaining like, yeah, your dad's in Colombia and this and that. And it's kind of like he's a good guy, And even to this day, like I don't hate my father. I have no resentment at all. I think it's fine. I do have a relationship with him as an adult. Yeah, I do.
Oh, okay.
It's not the best relationship. Like we talk here and there, but like I don't like resent the dude. Like it is what it is. I think it's whatever the circumstances were. I think my mom did her absolute best, and all I can do is just be appreciative of that. But I think growing up as a child, man, I think sometimes it definitely hits you. Like, where's my dad? I don't have a dad. This and that, and like I would be like, not identity crisis, but it's kind of like, why am I not like every other family?
Yeah.
And you just kind of get to the point where it doesn't really matter anymore. And I just relied on other father figures in my life, like all my uncles. Like I had so many uncles. Shout outs to those dudes, man. Like honestly, like and maybe they don't realize it. I don't think I ever really told them.
Was it
And
any
maybe one
Julia
day I
Roberts
will.
dudes?
The Julia Roberts dudes, man. Like I love those guys, because they really were my father figures. Like I really relied on them for advice or just to kind of joke around with and just kind of hang out with, because I guess that's what I kind of looked for as a child, and they were able to supply that. So I think one day I definitely need to like sit down with my uncles and be like, yo, you guys don't know this, but thank
Do it with
you.
a beer, man.
Do it with a beer.
It's always
Be
easier.
like, yo, you guys don't know it, but thank you.
Yeah.
So I guess that's all I can really say, man. But my mom did a great job, just kind of like playing both roles.
I was gonna say having a brother also was probably a little bit easier, right? Because you
Yeah.
didn't feel lonely or anything like that.
And I felt lonely because I knew that whatever I was going through, he was going through as well. So I think we kind of always had that camaraderie with us. We always kind of had that in common and just kind of realized that, like, hey, like, this is our situation. We need to try to make the best of it, And like I said, my mom did a great job. And I always, I'm really appreciative and very grateful for the sacrifices that she made.
Yeah, that's what's
You know?
up, man. And that, like, also, like I said, as we were in high school, I've always seen you with a smile on your face. College, seen you with a smile on your face. Converts, seen you. Maybe I saw you with a little frown sometimes there, but I've always felt like you kept a nice big positive attitude to you. Like, any advice or anything that you feel like specifically that you've done, or is it just all like, was it a front for most of the time, a little bit of the time? Like, what advice would you give out to the world?
No, I don't think it was a front, man. I think I learned from my mom that, no matter how bad things get, like, it could always be worse. It could always be worse, or even if you feel like you're down, the only place you can go is up. So I always try to kind of keep that with me. Like, yeah, maybe sometimes it could be a front, maybe going through like a depression or anxiety, or you don't want to show your weakness. So I think some of it could possibly be a front, but I think for the most part, I think that I try to maintain positivity. I try to maintain like a smile on my face. I'm alive. I have a roof over my head. I got food. I got a job. It's kind of like, I mean, what can I really complain about? Like, yeah, I'm not rich. I don't have everything that I want at the time when, when I was going through this. But yeah, man, it's just kind of maintaining that positive outlook, man, because I think that life is way too short to kind of think negatively or be sad, or you go through your depression. I think as humans we go through that, and that's totally fine. I think that's 100% okay. But you just kind of have to like pick yourself up, just don't let it get the best of you.
Touche, man. Everyone has bad days, and sometimes those bad days last weeks, and then I think the empowerment goes there. Like, do you want it to last longer? It's really up to you. Like Little Jay said too in the previous podcast, the best thing to do, which I agree with him 100%. The more and more I think about his words, it really touches me because like the only thing you can do is control what you can control. And if you put one foot forward and just keep going, I promise you, you're gonna go somewhere. And then you start realizing things. You start realizing if it's making it worse, good, because you just don't want to sit there and sulk there. That's how depression happens. And at that point, you just don't want to put a pause into your life too long. You know what I mean?
I used to not believe in depression.
Really?
Yeah. I used to be. I always believed in like anxiety. Like I've had anxiety since I was a kid. I believe that. Like everyone gets anxious. I think it happens. But depression, I was always kind of like, I was never depressed. I can truly say that like as a kid or a teenager, I never felt depressed. Or at least I didn't know what it was.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what'd you think as a kid that it was just like being?
Well, I don't think. Up until I experienced what depression was, I didn't really like know what it was. I didn't. Not that I didn't believe in it. I just didn't. I couldn't put like
you didn't
a feeling to it.
Understanding, like you couldn't put your own relative.
I couldn't, man. Until I dealt with it myself. And going through depression is one of the worst things in life. 100% worst things in life, man. And I think that, I mean, the first time that I ever can say that I went through like a depression or a depressed period in my life was when my mom got sick from COVID and she was in the hospital for over 50 days. And that, I mean, we kind of already 3 years ago at this point, like the whole COVID pandemic.
Scary shit, bro.
Scary. It's a big mystery. We don't know what it is.
Did your mom actually go to the hospital?
She was, yeah.
You know what's so scary, man? We were told by so many people not to go to the hospital. Like, my dad got really sick. Like, just not as serious as your mom, bro, but there was a point my dad stopped eating. He was in bed. He didn't get up. There were times I was dying at the same time. I'm not even lying to you. Like, there were 3 days I don't remember. My mom said I was just coming in and out of sleep. I wouldn't go pee. She said maybe I got up once to pee. Yeah. And she was just feeding me like a fucking baby. I don't fucking recall it. Like, I just, to me, 3 days just passed. I was just sleeping. But she said I was delirious. I was sweating. Yeah. She said my dad was sweating. My dad was screaming in his sleep. Mom was sleeping in the living room. She let my dad sleep in his own bed. And every day she would check up on us. And she's like, I thought that one of you were just going to give up. And I was like,
holy It was a crazy time, man. I mean, I tested positive on March 31st. So, right, like the peak of COVID, man. And as soon as I tested positive, like, I sent my mom to the hospital because, she's a dialysis patient. She's diabetic, all that, high blood pressure, risk of heart failure. Like, my mom, she had it all. Like, she was the last person that needed to get COVID. So the moment that I tested positive, I sent her right away. And as soon as she got to the hospital, man, she got pneumonia. She got COVID. She was intubated. She had cardiac arrest while she was there. She was resuscitated, intubated again. And she was there for over 50 days, man. And then during that time, I could truly say I was depressed, man. I couldn't watch TV. I couldn't listen to music. I wasn't eating. I couldn't eat at all. I lost like 30 pounds because I didn't eat for 2 months. I remember being with Julia, and she would like force me to like try to eat something. Like she like gave me this pasta, and like I took like 2 bites, and then like I threw up or something. I couldn't keep like food down. I'd stay up all night. I'd stay up until like 4 or 5 in the morning, and then wake up like 2 hours later, and like just like complete like panic. And it was like the worst feeling ever, just because of when my mom was sick and she was in the hospital. I didn't know.
Were you thinking a lot? Like, were you being an overthinker?
I was being an overthinker, man. I was overthinking.
Thinking about the worst, right?
Thinking about the worst, man. Like, I'm thinking, like, am I going to lose my mom? Like, I'm not ready to lose my mom. You're never ready for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you'll never be ready.
You'll never be ready. But at the moment, it's kind of like it was such a scary world, man. Like, this mystery pandemic. No one knows what to do with it. No one knows what it is. There's no cure. There's no whatever. The world is on lockdown.
The news made it worse,
too. The news made it worse.
And social media.
Social media, every single day, thousands and thousands and thousands of people dead in hospitals from COVID. And my mom is there. And I'm thinking like, wow, this could be my mom any second now. You couldn't see your friends. We weren't at work. It was just me and my brother trapped in our apartment for like 2 or 3 months while she was in the hospital. Me just like losing my mind, and I could truly say like, yeah, that was a depression, man, and I found it. I couldn't listen to music. I couldn't watch like everyone was like, "Oh, you're watching this show, you're watching that show." I'm like, I can't watch anything if I don't know what's gonna happen in the show. That itself gives me anxiety. Like I was rewatching The Office just because that's the only show. Like I know I know what I'm gonna watch. I know what I'm gonna see. I'm gonna watch The Office on repeat because I know exactly what's gonna happen.
Facts,
You know?
bro. Best show in the world.
Best show in the world, honestly, man.
I'm gonna make this a clip. If you love The Office, you're a real one. Shane, that's the only thing I hate about you.
Shane
think
doesn't
that-
like The Office?
He thinks it's not funny. They don't understand dry humor, bro. Dry humor is one of the funniest shits ever.
I love it, but I understand why people don't like it.
Yeah,
I
dry,
get it.
dry humor is hard. Like,
It's hard, man.
you gotta be real funny to understand it.
Yeah.
So, for those that
I mean,
don't
I guess
understand,
we're funny, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
motherfuckers don't understand.
But yeah, man. I mean, until I experienced depression, man, I was really kind of like, yeah, be happy. No, man, I believe it now. Like, if you're depressed, I'm feeling for you. I'm like, yo, get better soon. You know, like
Facts.
it truly sucked. But yeah, man, that was a tough time, dark times.
I agree with you, man.
Super
Like,
dark times.
I've definitely been depressed a couple times in my life, and it really is something that is unexplainable. It's just like when you say to somebody, "Yo, I'm depressed," like it sucks because that doesn't mean dick to them. Like until they, and even if they experience their own depression, like it's just crazy. Like I couldn't believe at the moment that I was the most depressed in my life. Like everything felt like a waste of time.
Yeah.
I just felt like, and you know what? The reason I asked you if you were thinking a lot was because when I truly believe, like I was so depressed, there were so many thoughts. It was hard to shut down my brain, bro. I could not shut it down for anything.
Dude, I couldn't. I legit couldn't sleep. And you know what? You know what I had to do? And shout out to my friend Luis Palomo.
Oh shit, my
Dude,
boy.
honestly, that kid saved my life.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, for real. And I maybe I need to tell him more often too. But during that time when like my mom was in the hospital and I was going through that shit, like I couldn't sleep, man. I felt alone. And you know what we would do? I would play video games with my friends, and Lewis, like we'd be like on like Discord or Skype or something, I don't know. And that dude would stay on Skype or Discord with me until I fell asleep. And there's times where like we fell asleep on the call, and I'd wake up at like 8 in the morning, and he's there. I'm just hearing him snore. But like just having that person, like
Yeah,
having
bro.
somebody that like stayed with me just in case like I needed to talk to somebody or I needed like someone right away, like I would just be like, yo, and he'd be like, oh, yo, what's up, man? What's up? I'm like, all right, cool. I'm all right. You know, so like, and he did that with me every day for like almost 2 months, man. And like that honestly kind of saved my life because like, not for nothing, like I love my brother, but like, you know, we had our own rooms. He kind of fell asleep. He was fine. Like he was totally fine throughout the pandemic. I mean, I think, you know what, he was working out a lot.
Took out his anger that
and
way.
I think he took
Anxiety
out
that
his own demons through that. So I think he was cooler, man. So I didn't want to bother him. But like me, like
You're freaking out.
I'm freaking out. I'm staying up. I couldn't sleep. So like if I'm playing video games till like 4 or 5 in the morning, everyone gets off. My guy Lewis stayed with me until the very like second that I fell asleep, bro. So like things like, I mean, that's those are times where you can depend on your friends to like really get you out of like tough shit.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. I feel like
Shout out Lewis, man. Thank you, bro.
Luis Palomo, shout out, yo. That's my guy. Even though in high school I fucking hate him. A little bit. During soccer, he used to annoy the shit out of me. But he was after our little incident, he was definitely cool. The reason I'm saying that too, man, like it's crazy. Like it's just insane during those times. It's unexplainable. I lost a couple of family members to COVID, and it was just, I used to hate when people say like, "Oh, that's just not real. That's just bullshit." It used to anger me because like I really had a real loss to it, and it was just crazy, man. I lost great uncles. Rest in peace to them. And just a big shout out, yo, man. R.I.P. Ziggy. I know I mentioned it outside the podcast. Even losing a dog too, like, bro, like I consider it family. Like was Ziggy your first dog?
No, Ziggy wasn't my first dog. My first dog was her name was Sandy, this like little black Labrador, and she lived until she was 18 years old. We had to put her down when I was 13. So Ziggy was my second dog. We got him like a month or two after Sandy passed away. But even that, man, like losing your dog, I honestly like this whole time, like I knew Ziggy's final days were kind of numbered. He was an old dog. He was over 14 years old.
Yeah.
He had an issue with his back. He had an infection on his balls that like really hurt him. So we kind of saw his final days coming. And I'm the whole time thinking like, I'll be okay. Like it's fine. Like this just happens. And man, I got into that, and I got into the veterinary room, the examination room at the vets.
That shit sucks.
And I'm like, I'm okay. But as soon as I saw him come in with that little catheter, and it was time to like
Say goodbye or something.
to say goodbye, bro, I was bawling my eyes out. I was sobbing. I was crying. Julia freaked out, man. Julia, I thought she was gonna be okay, but no, she broke down.
She was worse than you.
She was worse than me, bro. Once she broke down, then I just completely lost it. I lost it, bro. And like now we're just both in there crying over this dog, man. And it's crazy because like
The impact, bro. The impact a pet brings.
The impact.
I don't even want to call them a pet. They're like family, bro.
They really are. That's my little brother.
Yeah.
You know, like you don't realize that kind of the kind of impact that they had because like I remember getting Ziggy when he was 6 months old, man. He was a puppy, and he just passed away at 14, and the time just came and went.
Yeah, bro.
The time just came and went. I didn't even notice, and you really start to like think about like your entire life with them, bro. I put it up on Instagram, and the amount of people that showed me love for Ziggy,
Bro,
it's like you kind of forget about who they met along the way, bro. Like people that I met in like people from high school hit me up.
Like, yo, Ziggy.
Like, yo, Ziggy, rest in peace. Gonna miss Ziggy. I remember when you got Ziggy. Like, people that I haven't spoken to in years, like, showing love. I'm like...
Bro, it's because humans really do give a shit more about animals
They
than
really
people.
do, man.
Like, I truly believe that.
But that shows the impact that they make, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's insane. And like I said, man, the time just came and went. Like, I had no idea. Like, I knew he was 14 years old, but I didn't think about it. Like, it's been 14 years of memories and experiences and, like, all the people that he's met and impacted. Like,
So you were 14 when you got him? Oh,
yeah. I was, like, 13, 14. Yeah, when I got him,
that's
man.
holy
That's half my life, bro. Right now, you know?
Dude, yeah. He was there prior to Julia, post,
Yeah.
and he was there for Julia.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy, bro. Like, even when RIP Ziggy and RIP Snowball, like, when I first lost my first dog, bro, I didn't think, like, I knew he was sick, and I knew, I had a feeling that I was going to lose him, and I don't know why. In those last 2 months that he was there, because I had a feeling, man, I had a deep feeling that my dog was just going to die. I had no idea why. And the reason that I knew he was sick, he didn't die from what he was actually sick for. We ended up getting him surgery because he had also like a ball problem, but we gave him, he had a cancer, but we stopped it and they removed his balls, and he was good. But I just had a feeling, I knew something was coming up. I was going through dark times, and my dog was always there to cheer me up, bro. Like, even if it was just coming around and fucking pissing me off or like letting me pet him. Like, when I lost him, bro, I didn't think I was going to cry that much, but my parents probably did the worst thing ever. I worked on a Sunday at TD Bank. I'll never forget this. And I was going to take him to the vet because they told me if this medication didn't work or reverse, basically what happened, his tongue was deteriorating. It's the weirdest shit, bro. Till this day, they couldn't figure it out. But the vet was very honest with me. She's like, we can take him to a specialist, but I'm going to tell you two things. They're going to take an interest in the case, and they're going to take your dog from you, and they're going to tell you they're going to do everything possible, but they're probably going to do research on him because I don't think that anyone's discovered why the fuck this is happening.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm going to give you antibiotics specifically to stop him from losing his tongue, and then maybe at worst, we just might have to like edge it out when it stops deteriorating. But if you notice that it continues deteriorating and he's not eating, then we're going to have to, basically at that point, put him down. Because at the best, like this, those are your three options. So obviously what happened was I would try to force him to eat. He would bite me, and my dog never bit me.
Yeah.
So you could tell this dog was going through a lot of pain. So the day I was going, Sunday, I'll never forget this day. I gave him a big kiss. He let me give him a kiss. He looked at me, and it looks like if he was saying, like, I'm out, bro. Like, there's no way I'm that's it. So I went to TD. I'll never forget this. I'm pretty sure Nico was there. I think. I don't remember, honestly, because I went. I lost it. My niece called me, and she was just like, oh, Theo, like, I'm so sorry, but... And then I heard crying, and I'm like, she's like, oh, like, they're putting him down. Like, she said that it got worse. He's in a lot of pain. We're gonna put on speaker. You want to say anything? Bro, I lost it. I just said, nah, I don't want to say anything. Like, I said bye from far away, but next thing I know, trash cans on the floor, chairs are in the other side of the room. My teller, my coworker comes in. She's like, Puka, what happened? And I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, you just threw everything. And I think I lost it, bro. I don't know what happened. I blacked out. I had thrown this trash can across the room.
Yeah.
I had been crying. They found me on top of the shredder machine crying. I don't recall anything. Nico just hugged me and said, go, Puka, just go home. And I did go home. And the worst thing my parents did, I can laugh about it now, but my mom is so traditional. She didn't let them keep the body. She brought the body back. and we had to bury him in our backyard.
No.
But it was nice and sweet, bro. It was kind of a
Yeah.
little cemetery ceremony
Yeah.
thing. But he's in a fucking backyard in Freeport right now. He's just chilling there.
Bro.
And
That's terrible.
yo,
I'm
yeah,
sorry,
no,
yeah.
yeah, but in a weird way, it was comforting to know that he was still there with us,
Yeah.
physically, not like spiritually. I know he's somewhere else with all the dogs and shit, but it was weird at the time because I was like, why the fuck would you bring me my dog? But it was nice at the time because I think it had closure.
Yeah.
It was nice closure.
It's tough, man. You can never be ready for it. And I mean, same thing with Ziggy, man. Like you know what? He was a little sick, but like we made the decision to put him down because he wasn't eating.
Yeah, that's the
He was a little
biggest.
senile. He had to be carried most of the time because of his back. Like he couldn't walk downstairs. Oh no, he couldn't walk upstairs. He was very like he was peeing everywhere, man. Like we had to keep a diaper on him because if not, he was just dropping pee like no matter like 24/7, bro. Like he just felt like incontinence, I think is what it's called. So we just had to make the decision, and it sucked, man. Like Julia was like, we might have to do this tonight. I'm like, tonight, and we did it the next night. But even being in that examination room, and once they put that catheter in, and they explained the process, like her sister-in-law did it, luckily, BJ's wife, and she's the one that did it for us. So it was cool that we had like a family member kind of help us out through that experience.
That's what's up.
But like Julia held him in her arms, and then first they put him to sleep, and then it's two of them. The first one puts the dog to sleep, like actual like snoring.
So he feels nothing.
Then the second one is what euthanizes them. And I didn't realize how quick it was, man. Because one, that thing knocks the dog out fast, like it's sleeping. And then they put the euthanization one, and like 2 seconds later they're dead, bro. She's holding him in her arms, and I'm thinking that he's like slowly going away. Nah, man, he was done.
Holy,
He was done right away. And I'm just like, what? He's gone? Like, it's that quick? And then I just broke out again, bro. I just started crying. I'm like,
Yeah.
damn. And like Ziggy, like we always kind of had like a tough love kind of situation going on. Like I love Ziggy. I love to hate him. I hate to love him type of thing.
Yeah.
He peed on my PS3 couple, back in the day.
I would've choked
Oh
him.
man, I like wanted to kill the dog, man. But you know what? He kept my mom company, because like my mom like not working and being
your
sick.
mom. How'd your mom deal with it?
My mom was so sad, bro. Because that was her dog.
Yeah.
That she loves Ziggy. He was her company, especially like my mom spends all her time at home. Like
That was her companion.
That's her companion, man.
Yeah.
So like for like her, I feel really bad. I feel the worst for my mom because like the past 2 months, because Ziggy's sick, she can't really take care of him. So he's been living with us. Julia was taking care of him the past 2 months. So even like having Ziggy away from my mom, even while he was still around, kind of sucked. And then now that he's like really gone, I feel bad for my mom because like that was her companion, like that was her company.
Yeah.
And like I said, man, you're never ready for that kind of stuff, and then
Facts,
you
bro.
get.
I'm actually really glad I wasn't there. I would have fucking imagine. I flipped out a TE.
Yeah. Give me a fucking dog.
But fighting the fucking vet, bro.
Yeah.
I would have been choking that motherfucker.
Oh man, but yeah, man. I mean, these dogs have huge impacts.
Yeah, man.
You never realized
I love my pit now, but after this, bro, I'm done. I can't go
Yeah?
through that shit. It's beautiful while it's there. The beautiful definitely overdoes the ugly.
Yeah.
But sadly, what sticks is the emotional like separation.
You're right, 100%.
mean?
Because like, if you get a dog, you'll be lucky to get 10 to 15 years at most out of them, right?
Correct.
And like to do that kind of emotional separation every 10 to 15 years, it's like, is it really worth the the love in between? I think it is. When we put Ziggy down, it brought me right back to when we put my first dog down. Like me and my brother and my mom, we went to the vet. My mom decided the day of. She's like, she's got to go, and we took her the day of to the vet in West Hempstead. And me and my brother are in there. I'm 13. He's like 12, and putting the dog down, and we're just like we're sobbing, we're crying our eyes out. Like this is like our first experience with death. So for us,
Yeah.
it's kind of like fuck, man. Like our dog is not coming back, So and a couple of days ago, doing that to Ziggy brought me right back to being 13 years old in that examination with Sandy.
Seeing it the first time.
And I'm just kind of, and it doesn't get any better. It doesn't get any
Doesn't.
easier.
It
man.
doesn't.
It does not get any
That's the
easier.
whole reason. Like I said, I don't know if I can deal with it.
Yeah,
Like
man,
after
stop.
this one, I'm gonna be done. Like Ace has been my buddy, bro. Even moving in, like I said, I took my moving in. I'm not gonna go into detail. Like the reason I chose to kind of leave my Freeport house and go to where Shane is now was definitely a really dark time for me. And like when I went to this new apartment after I got settled in, like moving in, I sent my parents away just to also because it wasn't just me going through a lot of bullshit. It was my family, and I knew I needed to clear my parents' head. I just sent them to Peru, let them do their thing for a little bit, forget what was going on here in the U.S. I didn't get to escape that, so it was me and my fucking dogs. And shout out to Ugly Nacho too. Fuck that motherfucker. But those dogs kept me. Those were my company, bro. And shout out to my girlfriend, man. She was. I don't say it enough. She was amazing, bro. Like the thing she did for me is like I don't even know how to. There's no word for it. Like I can't thank her enough for what she did for me. Like those were really dark times for me, and that's why the reason of the podcast I'm stirring up again because everyone has a beautiful story, bro. No matter how ugly it was, like everyone has something to share, and that's where I also emotionally get stronger because I know that, bro. If I told you what happened, man, it's just like I think you know. I think I might have told you when I was drunk or something.
Yeah, I remember.
Like it's just crazy, and it took me a long time to get out of that dark hole, bro. Like it really did. Like I wasn't myself for a long time, and now that I'm starting to feel like myself, like I know that I can motivate myself and be determined and be dedicated to do something like this. And it took me, dude. Like think about it. I've been living with Shane now.
Over a year now, right?
I'm going for 2 years this December. So it took me about a year and a half to jump out of this funk that wasn't me. I didn't feel, like I said, depression, man. Like, I was definitely depressed. I didn't feel like myself 100%. And, you know, we have our bad days, we have our good days, but I had a streak, man. That's what I'm saying. Like, I just didn't, like, I felt like I was moving on, and then I was lying to myself because I was still in the same place. I was like, it was a dark place. And I always say that therapy might be for you, it might not be, but talk to your friends, get it out there, and put yourself like. And I wish I would have heard Little Jay's words a lot sooner because just putting yourself in uncomfortable situations that are gonna be a progression, it definitely makes your mind and your body stronger, bro.
Yeah.
Like touche to that. But shout out to the dogs, bro. Even Fonzo lost his dog. I know that motherfucker was sad. I had to go pick him up and take him out for a beer because I know he was fucking dreading that shit too. Your first dogs always suck, man.
Yeah.
It always sucks.
100%.
But I agree with you. I think that the journey's always beautiful, and it definitely overdoes the ugly of that day because there's so much memories to live from. You don't have to really think about the bad one.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It stings the most.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, another question I kind of wanted to ask you, any advice for the people that you feel like need to hear something from a positive person? Like you said that you try to keep a smile. How do you do it? Like other than being grateful and understanding that I know you said it could be worse, but what specific is there anything that you do in your day that you feel like has been working for you? Like what would you recommend as a positive person?
I don't know if it's anything specifically in my daily routine, to be honest. I think it's just keeping that in the back of my mind.
You talk to yourself a lot? Like
I talk to myself a good amount.
Yeah.
I think I used to talk to myself a lot more. Maybe not as much as I used to. But I think it's just kind of keeping that in the back of your mind, like it could always be worse. And even if you're feeling shitty, and even if you feel like you're down and you're at your bottom, the only place that you can go is up. And like think about how exciting that is. Like how exciting is that? Imagine like I've been at the bottom. At least I felt I've been at my bottom. For now, at least. But like the only thing that kept me going was thinking about like how exciting is it that this can only get better? Like what's gonna happen? Like I'm looking forward to that. But then it's also being vulnerable to the fact like maybe if you're at the top, or if you feel like your life is going great, it's that really vulnerable moment where you're like, fuck man, like sometime soon, someday might get fucked up. It might ruin what I'm going, like the good things I have going for myself. And that could also be really, really, really depressing. It could really put you down. But I think it's just kind of keeping in the back of your mind, like it could always be worse. You could always go up. You got to be excited for the days that are ahead of you.
Do you feel like it's definitely be like a beneficial thing with your counterpart? Like, is she someone positive like you, or does she appreciate your positiveness? Like, how does that work?
I think she appreciates my positiveness. I think sometimes she thinks too much about the future and too ahead of herself. And maybe I think I'm there to kind of like keep her calm and like keep her like focusing on the now. You know, and like she kind of reinforces that for me as well. You know, like if I get in my ruts or if I get like anxious about the future, like she does the same thing, which is like great. Like, I think that's another great thing about having somebody, especially like in the same space, like living with you, like immediate like go-to person, you know, to kind of like help you out and like keep you sane. But I think it's just kind of what's keeping in the back of your mind, man. I think it's just this life is way too short to be negative or to be sad or mad. Like go through your moment. Like everyone, you're gonna get mad, and when you're mad, people, you're not listening to anybody. Nothing makes sense. But then snap out of it and just kind of get right back into it, you know, because like I said, this life is way too short.
Absolutely,
You
man.
know, we don't realize it now, but man, this time is going by so fast, and before you know it, you know, we're sunsetting.
old.
You know,
Yeah.
we're old, and it just gotta happen. So I think it's, you know, don't focus on what you can't control. Focus on what you can control. Focus on what makes you happy. Just kind of keep going.
I agree with you 100%, man. I definitely agree on that aspect of you just got to keep going, keep doing your thing. Talk to yourself a lot. Honestly, I do recommend that. The reason I asked is because I talk to myself so much. One thing that I found, as weird as it sounds, that's been helping me snap out of it is in the morning, I don't do anything crazy. I do like you don't have to be religious to do this, but I do my little cross thing. But then I always right after the cross thing, I say, hey God, thank you for today. Thank you for what I have. I know it could be worse, so I'm very grateful today. I have a job. Today I'm getting my hours in. I'm gonna go to the gym right after because I'm healthy. And even if I feel lazy, I should be appreciative that I can walk, that I can lift, that I don't have any back issues. And I start listing all the positives and all the problems that I don't have. And it kind of puts me in a good mood. Even if I wake up pissed that I have to go to work, when I get into that car and I do that, it changes my mindset. It just reiterates the fact that, yo, I'm lucky to go to a job. There are people that are homeless. There are people that are getting fired. There are people that got laid off. There are people that don't find a job. There are people that are just in a horrible position that I'm grateful to be going to a place that I can complain about. So I look at it in that aspect because I think it's really important, and I don't think a lot of people understand that. You may not be happy where you are, but you are the only person that can change that, right? Like if you're not happy in your environment, then do something about it. You know, like at that point, get yourself out of something that you're not comfortable with, even if it's gonna dread you to be there. I promise you, in the long run, you'll be in a better mental space. Your mental, like health is so important because if you're not there, if you're not happy with yourself, then you're not going to be happy anywhere. It doesn't matter if you're in New York, California, Arizona, like you have to keep this happy. And once you're here, once you can check that you're happy here, you can make everything else work for you.
Yeah.
You know, like I think that's very important.
I agree.
But any advice, bro? I mean, it's like we've been killing this thing. We're like at an hour and 10 minutes. Like any advice that you would want to say to the people that you feel like something that's helped you? Actually, you know what? Before we get to that part, are you actually at all? Like I want to ask this question to everyone. Are you religious in any way?
I'm not.
Do you feel like there's a greater power out there? What's your belief in this world?
I think exactly what you just said. I do believe in a higher power. I believe that there is a sort of an answer to everything, you know. But I'm not a religious person. I don't go to church. I don't pray. I don't.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be lying to you if I tell you I go to church. I don't go to church. I haven't even read the fucking Bible really to the fullest. But the reason I say that I believe in God is because in certain experiences I've had in my life, when I reached rock bottom, bro, I've only told this to one kid, and shout out to him. I was really fucking drunk, and I was really out of let's just say. I was not in the zone, but I was in the zone. You know, like when you're just so out of it, like you're like concentrating in that conversation. His name is Dave. I met him through Shane, and we had a really beautiful conversation, man. And he also said the same thing. He's like, I believe that there's something out there of great power, but I don't believe that it's God. Like I just can't concretely say that. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's fine, man. Like I don't view you any different. You're a great person. But then he asked me a question like, how do you believe in him? And I said to him, honestly, no one's really asked me that. Like, no one's really cared for that answer. And I'm like, and I told him the same thing I'm telling you. Like, I don't study the Bible. I do not go to church. I do not congregate with other people that say this. I've come to a belief that by talking to myself, you know, I've come to an answer to tell you that there is someone that responds, man. When I was in my deepest shit, this is when my dog died. My dog had died. My dad went to the hospital injured. He had gotten into one of the worst accidents he's ever gotten into in his whole life. My niece was hospitalized. Everything that I can say to you that was horrible happening, I could not imagine. I did not understand why in every corner that I looked at, everything that possibly wrong was going wrong for me. I wasn't happy in my job. I wasn't financially doing well. I wasn't... romantically, I was alone. I felt like I was the reason for that. That I had no nothing to give to some other person for some odd reason. Family wise, I didn't feel like I was the greatest son. I felt like I was a failure because I wasn't really doing well in school. So every aspect that I looked at it, I was definitely not happy. And I was like, yo, fuck this. Like, what the fuck do I have to do? I'm like, yo, if you really out there, bro, like, help me out. Like, how the fuck can this be happening to me? What happens next? Even worse shit. More worse things that put me in a worst decision ever. My dad's struggling financially. I was told to step up. And I'm like, and at that moment, bro, I was crying a lot. I had mental breakdowns in my car. I stopped in the middle of the highway because I would sit outside in my car for 2 to 3 hours before I went inside of my house. I was mentally depressed. I didn't know who I was. And then I just sat down in my car and, like I said, talked to myself, right? I said, there's no way there's a God if I'm like this. After I've asked for everything, like, how am I here? But then I understood there's perspective to everything, right? So I said to myself, wait a minute. I'm not happy where I'm at. I'm being forced to change. I'm being told to step up financially. I'm being told to take a different role. It's like as I was like, why would this happen to me now? And then I just realized, bro, like God comes in mysterious ways. Like, believe it or not, like it could be God, it could be a special power. I was meant to hit rock bottom to understand that I was not happy. Like the route I was going was not a good route. I was still drinking a lot. I was being an idiot. I used to drink and drive, thinking that was cool. Don't fucking drink and drive. I used to, and I was never getting caught or anything like that. But my life was breaking apart beside of me, and I never thought. I said to myself, I'm gonna stop doing that. I'm gonna start working out, taking it seriously. I'm gonna start caring about my family. I'm gonna step it up in my job, even if I don't like it. I'm gonna come in with a positive attitude, change how I am. What ended up happening to me a couple of months later after I implemented all those changes, after I realized that I think God put me in this spot because he wanted me to realize you're not happy because you're not doing what you need to be doing to make yourself happy. I quit my job 3 months later. I did one of the scariest things I ever did in my life. It looks like I'm doing the opposite of what I was supposed to do financially, right? But I put myself out of position because I was scared of change, and I knew that to be happy, I had to take the next step, even if it was a scary one. And I'm quitting my job and joining this other job that I ended up quitting, but it put me in the position I am now. And now, a couple years later, I'm a supervisor. I'm in the road to becoming someone, a manager of a financial institution. I'm meeting amazing people. I'm doing this consistently. Even though I had to hit another roadblock, I was able to bounce back a lot faster on this one than I did with the previous one. Because the other one, I was in a depressed mode from like 21 all the way to 24. I ended up finding the job that I got here. I ended up working out with Fonzo, and I got into a great shape. Might be in a great shape now, but I'm trying to change that day by day. But bro, I'm telling you, I really believe that I did a calling, and he answered, and he was just like, yo, you're not fucking happy because of your choices, and I'm gonna make you realize that it's you. And it hit hard, bro. Yeah. It hit hard, but it was a good realization. But what is it about you that you feel like there's something out there, like unexplainable, basically, right?
Yeah, I think first great story. I mean, that's awesome, man. I think it's kind of looking back and being vulnerable to like what put you in that kind of rut, and then like what you needed to do to like bring yourself back up. I think that's amazing. But I think that what for me, it's kind of like people always, and like I said, I'm not a religious person, never really have been, but like that was all you. Like that was all you. Like I know you believe in God, and I think that's great. But I think like people want to put their success on God, and I think that's amazing. But like everything that happens is because of you, right? And like never take that away from yourself.
No, absolutely.
I think that's like the first and first thing. Like people like they have great success, and like I want to thank God. Like, bro, you put in all that hard work. That was all you, So like for me, it's kind of like maybe I don't believe in a religion or a God, but I do believe in a higher power. Just because like I feel like as humans, I think the way that things are, it's almost a little bit too perfect. Like humans and the way that we've evolved and like the way that we are, and like just think about like look at the room around you. Like how is everything here? Like it seems almost a little bit too perfect. So maybe I don't believe necessarily in like a religion or a God, but I do believe in a higher power that kind of like sets this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, what was the other part of the question?
What makes you believe that there is a high? Like, I know you're not going the religious route, but how do you explain the unexplainable? Like, I'm just curious to see how. Like I said, I truly don't know. I 99% know that I have faith in something. Right?
Yeah.
Like, even I can even put it in the way that you put it, that I believe in a higher power. Like, I agree with that 100%. The only reason I put like I thank that person is because, like I said, when I talk to myself, there are people that say, "Oh, I don't feel a response." Right after all that experience, when I do talk to myself, I feel comfort. No, and it could be my own mental way I've designed my brain now to do it, but I feel warmth, bro. I feel like an emotional attachment that when I ask something like, "Hey, man, like today I'm having a great day," and it's blah blah blah, thanks to myself. But I also feel like someone's coming over there, like it's like so weird. Like someone's just going to my shoulder and be like, "I'm proud of you, bro. Like keep doing." Yeah, like I said, mentally it might be me, but I feel like in that part, an attachment that it is my God coming up to me and saying like, even if it is me, man, like that's the weird part. Like it could be me, just patting myself in the back and saying like, "Yo, bro, I'm very proud of you," and just keep going.
Yeah.
Like at that point.
Maybe I can't explain it the way that you do with religion, but I think I can't put my tongue on it, but I believe in things like maybe like karma, right? Like karma, like what goes around comes back around, you know, which kind of motivates me to like be a good person and not be like fucked up and do shitty shit.
Yeah.
You know, things like that. I feel like that kind of stuff exists. You know, like the kind
Comes
of
around. What goes around comes around.
the kind of energy that you like put out into the world.
Absolutely.
I believe in that.
Absolutely.
And I think that all comes from like a higher power that we kind of want to believe in, that we want to like think
You
about.
attract what you seek, right?
100%. 100%. I think I believe in that way more than I do in like in a religion.
I agree with you 100%, brother.
You know?
I really do. Like I said, I don't put anyone down that doesn't believe in God
Yeah.
because I truly believe that whatever your belief is, I 100% respect it. Because at the end of the day, we're all kind of like all aiming at the same thing.
Yeah.
Like like your superpower might not give a shit what, like it might not be something that revolves around you, but
Yeah.
it definitely what comes around goes around. You know what I mean? Like I truly believe that. And manifestation, bro. Like I've seen so many great people in successful positions that say, like McGregor, man. I don't know if you watched the UFC, bro. When he was coming up, man, he would be like, "Yo, I'm gonna fuck this shit up. I'm gonna be number one."
Yeah.
And when you see that motherfucker get there, bro, that's why I love sports so much because like he was he talks so much shit, bro.
Yeah.
He'd be like, "Oh, I'm gonna fuck you up. I'm gonna fucking kill you. I'm gonna be that guy." And bro, I saw his development and how he became number one, bro. And it's just fucking crazy, bro. It's just like it motivates me. It gives me goosebumps. I love that kind of energy, bro. Like that, like I'm saying, you attract what you see.
Yeah.
So
My favorite line of his was he won a fight, and he's like,
I know what you're
"Oh, I want to take the time to thank absolutely fucking no one. I did this shit." I'm like, that's the kind of energy that I like to that I want to keep.
Yeah.
I strive to be that. Like he fucking did that.
Yeah,
like,
touche.
that was all him, man.
Touche, yeah.
Absolutely. You know. But hey, like, this is not to say that maybe like religion or something like that is down the road, man. If I see a sign, if I see something that leads me towards there, like I'm open to that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm just weirded out by
know?
the groups, man. There's certain like you hear about the groups so many times, like not to shit on religion, but that's the reason I put like a break to it because not everyone has good intentions. Like
Oh yeah, no. Yeah.
just like the political system, the religious system's also a little fucked up.
Same.
So that's what I'm saying. To one its own, like if you believe in it, you should be able to practice it in your own home without having to congregate. I get the congregation part because you want to share and love, but you could do that with your buddies. You know, you could do it with your family. You know, at the end of the day. So, bro, we've been killing it. It's almost our time too because it ends at 9:00. But come on, tell me some good. What advice would you like to give the crowd, the media, the people that listen, or just your final thoughts, man? By the way, it was great having you. Like this was amazing.
Hey, thanks for finally having me, man. Like every
You
single
fucking
time.
Colombians are all the same.
Yo,
Fonzo
get
says the
outta
same
here.
bullshit, bro.
Get outta here.
Fonzo's like, "Aren't you just there before me? You're fucking fake, bro." That's what he fucking said to me.
I just want to say one thing. Puka, I was on Island Boys podcast a couple years ago, and every single time I talk to Puka, "Hey man, we gotta do a podcast. I can't wait to have you again. Oh, you killed it last time. All right, let me know when. Like, hit me up." Like 3 years later, I'm finally back on a podcast. Thank goodness.
This man just.
But this is fun, man. I like doing this kind of stuff. I think it's who doesn't like talking about themselves? You know, I think it's just ask questions and people will just like ramble on, which is kind of what I'm doing now.
Did it
But,
show like I cared the whole time? No. I absolutely cared, bro. I
You
love
guys
learning.
hear a funny story about how Puka got me some records for my Christmas gift, and I don't have a record player.
Oh,
And then,
shit, that's what I
and then that's when you forgot my record player. So we had a Secret Santa for Christmas this past Christmas, and Puka had me as his Secret Santa. So what does he do? He doesn't know what to get me because I didn't fill out the list. So he asked Julia. He's like, "Oh, does Andres have a record player?" And Puka showed me the text message that she said no. And Puka thought that she said yes, so he got me 2 records. He got me "Take Care" by Drake and "Good Kid."
Are they in the apartment at
Lamar.
least?
They're in the apartment. I can't listen to them because I'm a fucking record player. And I opened the gift in front of everyone. I'm like, this is really cool. If I had a record player, and Puka's like, you do. I'm like, I don't.
Oh man, that was embarrassing, bro. You should have seen how fucking I was drunk and also like I was pretty fucking I was on meds because my allergies. So I was just like, fuck, I feel so bad, bro.
I mean, 2 great records. I mean, two of the most important records
Yo, bro,
of my high school.
if it makes you feel any
era.
better, I'm jealous that I gave it to you. I really don't want to give it to you. I was gonna buy myself the same thing, but I'm like, I don't have a fucking record player.
Yeah, me neither.
But I promise you, you're gonna get that record player. I promise you. You know what? Today, fuck it. I'm gonna keep your record player. I'm sending you one right now. Like after this shit, you're gonna see me. I'm gonna go to Amazon. I'm gonna send him one today because I want one now. You see, fuck, you made me want your record player. I'll give you one. Don't worry.
All right.
Anything else? Because we gotta take some pictures.
I don't think so, man.
Thank you all for listening. It was great having Andres. Andres, you can find his tag right there. Ladies, don't follow him. Guys, follow him. And thank you, and stay tuned for future ones.